Over 50 years ago, Miami-Dade County reached out for federal help because they noticed their shorelines were shrinking. In 1968, Congress authorized the Army Corps of Engineers to bring in loads of sand to replenish the beach as it's taken a toll from erosion. This was no small feat because they had to source millions of cubic yards of sand to fill the coastline from Government Cut all the way to Haulover Beach. Today we're at Indian Beach Park here, Miami Beach, and behind me are the contractors that are going to carry out this immense task of replenishing the sands of Miami Beach. Florida Department of Environmental Protection classified this beach as critically eroded in a 2021 report. In fact, all of Miami Beach falls under this classification. The sand that you see here, Miami Beach, is not original sand from like decades ago. It's been replaced and replaced and replaced, and the ocean continues to erode and erode and erode it. And so as it gets narrower and narrower, the Army Corps of Engineers has to come in and dump sand onto here. Literally millions of cubic yards of sand that is sourced from way offshore. So they get it from the seafloor, and there's a criteria that they have to follow. There's a whole list of things that they have to follow. It's literally the Florida sand rule. They have to follow it. They just can't get any kind of sand. They can't even crush rock and say it's sand. On top of that, they have their own criteria that they want to follow as well. And basically, I'm gonna throw up the PowerPoint slide from the Army Corps of Engineers. That it just goes into a lot of things that they look for when they're bringing in sand. They just can't, like I said, bring in any kind of sand. Sand has never looked weird here. It's all looked pretty much the same throughout, and that's the goal. Now I want to do something cool here so you guys get a visual idea of what I mean by the shoreline thinning out. Take a look behind me, and I'm gonna throw in some B-roll so you guys can see it without me blocking it, but take a look behind me. You can see how thin the shoreline is in comparison to the beach we're gonna go to further south. It's the same Miami Beach. We're just gonna go down by a few blocks. So as you can see here, obviously a much wider beach. The entire coastline is basically maintained in the sense that they are replenishing the sand quite often. We are now on 44th Street and the beach. This is where they are going to be putting brand new sand. They are essentially going to put sand over the ocean. No other way to put it. They're literally just gonna dump sand and basically extend this shoreline so it's not so thin. I mean, some areas, if you look at Miami Beach from satellite view, it's not perfect. It's not perfect at all. And you can see that's evidence of erosion. You can see that some parts are very, very slim and other parts are wider than others. I would say a couple blocks down that way to the south, the beach does get a little wider, especially for like South Beach where a lot of tourists go. So it'll be wider over there. A little more to the north, I've seen it very, very slim. So it varies, but the city and in partnership with the federal government are doing all they can to keep the sand at a normal size. I mean, you don't want the beach to be completely thin, especially when we have a lot of tourists that come here. So if you've ever been to Miami Beach, you'll know that getting to the beach requires you to walk through some sand dunes and greenery. Those, they have a purpose. They have a purpose. And the purpose of that is to stop waves from coming further inland. So when we have a hurricane, storm surge caused by winds pushing the waves further and further, if it's really bad, it'll come up the beach, extend, and then the dunes play a role in essentially stopping them from going further and further in. So they're not just there for looks. I mean, they look great. I think they do add to the whole vibe of Miami Beach, and it's really nice to walk through when you're going into the sand or going out of the sand area. But they have a real important purpose, basically to keep us from going underwater. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys learned a little something. If you do visit Miami Beach, definitely enjoy the beach. It's been taken care of really well for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe, join the channel. Join 4,000 plus of you guys that have subscribed already. Join them. It's free, supports me, and it keeps this channel going. So thank you guys so much. I'll catch you guys in the next video.